Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be starting our class today. We will be studying from Ruku number 8, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 190. So we'll start. First, normally what I do is I recite the verse, then highlight one or two rules of the tajweed, and then word-to-word translation, and then running translation, and then after that maybe one or two points from the commentaries written by the promised Messiah salam and the Khulafa. So start with verse number 190 of Surah Al-Baqarah, which is part 2. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يسألونك عن الأهلة قل هي مواقيت للناس والحج وليس البر بأن تأتوا البيوت من ظهورها ولكن البر من اتقى وأتوا البيوت من أبوابها واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون. So a couple of important points with regards to the rules of tajweed. First thing first is you probably hear this last letter here. It's called ta marbuta. And whenever we are stopping before the ta marbuta, this ta marbuta turns into ha. We don't say ahillat. We say ahilla. Ahilla. So this ha, ta turns into ha. Anil ahilla. Anil ahilla. So just like the word khalifa also has ta marbuta in the end, we don't pronounce that that letter. Same thing with salah. We don't say salat. Salah is when you pronounce the ta marbuta, which is basically ha. Then another thing I would like to highlight here is, we know that Jim is one of those 5 letters of Haruf Qalqala. And you noticed I exaggerated my pronunciation or my jerk on Jim because of the fact that there is shadda on top of it. Wal hajj. So you have to exaggerate it because there is shadda on it. So now these two rules, I'll now quickly go through the English translation word to word. Yas'alunaka. Yas'alunaka. Yas'aluna, they will ask or they ask. They will ask or they ask ka you. Yas'alunaka, they ask you anil ahilla. Ani, about. Al ahilla, new moons. New moons. The word, the word halal is also used for the moon, a particular moon. So that is what's being mentioned here. Anil ahilla, about the new moons. Halal is I believe the first 3 days of moon. That's it's called halal. So yes, alunaka anil ahilla, they ask you about the new moons. Kul, you say, hiya, it, mawaqitu, means of times. Mawaqitu, means of times. Waqt we use in Urdu as well. Mawaqitu, plural, means of times. Linnasi, for the people. Linnasi, for the people. Wal hajji, and the pilgrimage. Wal hajji, and the pilgrimage. Walaysa, and not. Al birru, righteousness. Al birru, righteousness. Laysa al birru, righteous is not. Beyond that. Ta'tu, you come. Al buyuta, houses. Notice there is no fatha on ba. There is dhamma on ba, so make sure you don't say bayut, it's buyut. Al buyut, houses. Min zuhuriha, min from, zuhuriha, its backs. Zuhuriha, its backs. Walakinna, but. Al birra, righteousness. Walakin birra, but righteousness is manittaqa, who feared God. Mani, who ittaqa, he feared. Wa'tu, and you come. Al buyutu, houses. Wa'tul buyutu, and you come to your houses. Min, from. Abawabiha, its doors. Its doors. Abawabiha, its doors. Wattaqullaha, and fear Allah. Wattaqullaha, and fear Allah, or you fear Allah. La'allakum, so that you. Tuflihun, you will prosper, or you will prosper. Running translation would be, they ask you about the new moons. Say, they are means of measuring time for the general good for mankind and for the pilgrimage. And it is not righteousness that you come into your house, come into houses by the backs thereof. But truly righteousness is righteous, but truly righteous is he who fears God and should come into houses by the doors thereof, and fear Allah, that you may prosper. So in this verse, Allah the Almighty has forbidden a custom which was being practiced in the time of Jahiliyyah, that that people would come from the backs of their houses, or they would not use the doors. So the holy Allah the Almighty has forbidden that practice, and Allah the Almighty says that righteousness, this is not the sign of righteousness. Righteousness is that whoever fears Allah the Almighty, and that is righteousness, who lives according to the conditions of taqwa, he is righteous in the sight of Allah. And then in the same time, Allah the Almighty is guiding us that we should use the doors to enter houses. So, and this is what is being mentioned here. Next verse. وَقَاتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ. وَقَاتِلُوا, wa and قَاتِلُوا, you fight. وَقَاتِلُوا, and you fight, فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, in the way of Allah. وَقَاتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, and you fight in the way of Allah. الَّذِينَ, to those, يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ, who fight you, who fight against you. وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا, and not ta'tadu, you transgress. وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا, and you should not transgress. Inna Allaha, surely Allah, la yuhibbu, does not like. Inna Allaha la yuhibbul mu'tadeen, Allah Ta'ala does not like those who transgress. Al-mu'tadeen, the transgressors. Running translation is, and fight the cause of Allah against those who fight against you, but do not transgress. Surely Allah loves not the transgressors. So a fairly simple verse, Allah the Almighty. So again, this is a defensive war that Allah the Almighty is speaking of. Only fight those who fight against you. So not it's only a defensive war that Allah Ta'ala has spoken about here. Then next verse. وَقْتُلُوهُمْ حَيْثُ ثَقِفْتُمُوهُمْ وأخرجوهم من حيث أخرجوكم والفتنة أشد من القتل ولا تقاتلوهم عند المسجد الحرام حتى يقاتلوكم فيه فإن قاتلوكم فاقتلوهم كذلك جزاء الكافرين. The subject of defensive wars continue. It's not in a war of aggression that Allah the Almighty does not speak of that here. It's only a defensive war that Allah is speaking about. And keeping that context, now let's go through the word-to-word translation. وَقْتُلُوهُمْ wa and اقتلوهم, you kill them. وَقْتُلُوهُمْ, and you kill them. حَيْثُ, wherever. ثَقِفْتُمُوهُمْ, you find them, you met with them. ثَقِفْتُمُوهُمْ, you find them, you met them. So you kill them wherever you met them. وَأَخْرِجُوهُمْ, and drive them out. وَأَخْرِجُوهُمْ, and drive them out. And drive them out min haythu, from wherever. Min haythu, from wherever. أخرجوكم, they drove you out. أخرجوكم, they drove you out. وَالْفِتْنَةُ, and persecution. وَالْفِتْنَةُ, and persecution. أشد, worse. أشد, worse. من القتل, than killing. الفتنة أشد من القتل, persecution is worse than killing. ولا تقاتلوهم, ولا, and not, تقاتلوهم, you fight them. ولا تقاتلوهم, and you do not fight them. In the Masjid al-Haram, in the sacred mosque. In the Masjid al-Haram, in the sacred mosque. Hatta, until yuqatilukum, they fight you. Do not fight them until they fight you in the Masjid al-Haram. Fihi, in it. Fihi, in it. Fa'in, so if qatalukum, they fight you. Faqatuluhum, and then you kill them. If they fight you, then you fight them. Kadhalika, such, dhalika is jaza'u, requital or punishment. Jaza'u, requital. Al-kafirin, the disbelievers. The running translation would be, and kill them wherever you meet them, and drive them out from where they have driven you out. For persecution is worse than killing. And fight them not in and near the sacred mosque until they fight you therein. But if they fight you, then fight them. Such is the requital for the disbelievers. So this is a verse which is often quoted in the West, that Islam, God forbid, is a violent religion, and it teaches its believers to find and kill the the disbelievers. Well, we just found out that this is not the case, because it's Allah in the previous verse. Allah the Almighty is guiding and Muslims that only fight those who fight you. So it's only specific to such people who wage a way of war of aggression on Muslims, and who have driven them out of their homes. Then Muslims are allowed to fight such people. That's why this says, وَأَخْرِجُوهُمْ, and drive them out, min haythu akhrajukum, from where we have driven you out. So here in this verse, also Muslims are asked to for such migrate, and even migration does not help in the wake of persecution, and they come after you, then you can do it. And then Allah says, for such things, and you should drive them out, because they've also driven you out from their homes, from your homes. So it's a very important verse. We should all know and understand this verse very well. Excuse me. Next verse is, فَإِنِ انْتَهَوْا فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. So if intahaw, they desisted. Intahaw, they desisted. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ, then surely Allah, غَفُورٌ Rahim, most forgiving, merciful. Running translation, but if they desist, then surely Allah is most forgiving, merciful. وَقَاتِلُوهُمْ حَتَّى لَا تَكُونُ فِتْنَةٌ وَيَكُونَ الدِّينُ لِلَّهِ فَإِنِ انْتَهَوْا فَلَا عُدْوَانَ إِلَّا عَلَى الظَّالِمِينَ. And قَاتِلُوهُمْ, you fight them, hatta, until, la takunu, that does not exist, fitnatun, persecution. Fitnatun, persecution. So you fight them until persecution ceases to exist, wa yakunu, and it becomes ad-deenu, religion, lillahi, for Allah. And the religion becomes for Allah alone. فَإِنْ انْتَهَوْا, so if intahaw, they desisted. فَلَا, then no, udwana, hostility, illa, except illa, except Allah, upon ala zalimin, aggressors. Ala zalimin, aggressors. So again, the word aggressor has been used. It's referring to those people who continue to wage war against Muslims and persecute them. So this word has been used. And if you understand this word, then the whole verse is actually understood. The previous verse. So Allah is asking Muslims to kill such people after migration. First step is to migrate. Then if the migration does not help and they come after you, then Allah Ta'ala allows us to defend ourselves. So this is what is being mentioned. So only aggressors, this is a defensive war, only in case of defensive war. Now running translation is, and fight them until there is no persecution and religion is freely professed for Allah. But if they desist, then remember that no hostility is allowed except against the aggressors. Next verse. الشهر الحرام بالشهر الحرام والحرمات قصاص فمن اعتدى عليكم فاعتدوا عليه بمثل ما اعتدى عليكم واتقوا الله واعلموا أن الله مع المتقين. الشهر, the month. Al-Haramu, the sacred. Asharul Haramu, the sacred month. Bishahril Harami, with the sacred month. Wal Hurumatu, and sacred things. Qisasu, retaliation. Qisasu, retaliation. Faman i'tada, faso mani hu i'tada, he transgressed. Faman i'tada, so he who transgressed, alaykum, upon you or against you, fa'tadu, fa'tadu, then you transgress. In retaliation, you can transgress. Alayhi, on him, bimithli, same level, bimithli, same level, ma'tada, that he transgressed, alaykum, against you or upon you. Wattaqullaha, and fear Allah. Wa'lamu, and remember and know, annallaha, surely Allah, annallaha, that Allah, ma'al muttaqeen, with God-fearing people. Ma'al muttaqeen, with God-fearing people. Running translation: the violation of a sacred month should be retaliated in the sacred month, and for all sacred things there is the law of retaliation. So whoso transgresses against you, punish him for his transgressions to the extent to which he has transgressed against you, and fear Allah, and know that Allah is with those who fear him. Next verse. وَأَنفِقُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ وَأَحْسِنُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. There's one rule that I'd like to highlight. You are noticing 3 dots here. I can't seem to remember what exactly they call. So the rule of these, whenever there are 3 dots, it will be followed by another set of 3 dots. So the rule is you can stop on either one of them, but you cannot stop on both of them. That's what the rule is. So you probably have noticed that I've stopped here. Ila tahluka. I stopped here. Then when I read this, I continued on to the next portion. وَأَحْسِنُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. So this is the rule that you need to keep in mind, please. Now, word-to-word translation. Va and anfiku, you spend. Wa anfiku, you spend. Fi sabilillahi, in the way of Allah. Wa anfiku fi sabilillahi, and you spend in the way of Allah. Wala tulku, and not tulku, you cast. Bi aidikum, with your own hands. Bi aidikum, with your hands. Ila, towards or to. Tahluka, ruin. At-tahluka, ruin. And do not cast yourself towards ruin or into ruin. Wa ahsinu, and you do good. Inna Allaha, surely Allah, yuhibbu, he loves al-muhsinin, those who do good. Inna Allaha yuhibbul muhsinin, surely Allah loves those who do good. Running translation. And spend for the cause of Allah, and cast not yourselves into ruin with your own hands, and do good. Surely Allah loves those who do good. The next verse for number 197. وَأَتِمُّوا الْحَجَّ وَالْأُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ فَإِنْ أُحْصِرْتُمْ sorry, I'll read it one more time. وَأَتِمُّوا الْحَجَّ وَالْأُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ فَإِنْ أُحْصِرْتُمْ فَمَا اسْتَيْسَرَ مِنَ الْهَدْيِ وَلَا تَحْلِقُوا رؤوسكم حتى يبلغ الهدي محله فمن كان منكم مريضا أو به أذى من رأسه ففدية من صيام أو صدقة أو نسك فإذا أمنتم فمن تمتع بالأمرة إلى الحج فما استيسر من الهدي فمن لم يجد فصيام 3 أيام في الحج و7 إذا رجعتم تلك 10 كاملة ذلك لمن لم يكن أهله حاضر المسجد الحرام واتقوا الله واعلموا أن الله شديد العقاب. A fairly long verse. Wa'atimmu, and you complete. Wa'atimmu, and you complete. Al-Hajja, the Hajj. Wa'atimmu al-Hajja, and you complete the Hajj. Wal-Umrata, and the Umrah. And the Umrah. Lillahi, for Allah. Fa'in, so if. Uhsirtum, kept back. Fa'ihsirtum, and if you're kept back. Fama, then whatever is Istaysara, it is easily available. Istaysara, it was easily available, comes from the word yusr. Minal hadiy, from offering. Minal hadiy, from offering. Wala tuhliku, and do not shave ru'usakum, your heads. Wala tahliku ru'usakum, and do not shave your head. Hatta, until yabluga. Yabluga, it reaches. Yabluga, it reaches. Al-hadyu, offering. Al-hadyu, offering. Mahillahu, its destination. Mahillahu, its destination. Faman, so whoever, kana, he was, minkum, from among you, maridan, sick, or bihi, or bihi, with it, azan, ailment. Azan, ailment, min rasihi, from his head. Whoever has an ailment on his head, fafidyatun, then expiation. Fafidyatun, then expiation. Min siyamin, from fasting. O sadaqatin, or almsgiving. O nusukin, or sacrifice. Fa'idha, then when. Amintum, you become safe. Amintum, when you become safe. Faman, then who. Tamatta'a, he availed. Tamatta'a, he availed. Bil umrati, with the umrah. Al-Hajji, al-Hajji, together with the Hajj. Al-Hajji, together with the Hajj. famastaysara. Fa then, ma whatever, istaysara, easily obtainable. It was easily obtainable. Minal hadi, from offering. Fa so, man whoso. Fa so, man whoso, lam not, yajid, he finds or he will find. Yajid, he finds or he will find. Fasiyamu, then fasting. Falafati, then 3. Falafati, 3. Ayyamin, days. So he has to fast for 3 days. Fil hajji, in the hajj. Wasab'atin, and 7. Idha rajatum, when you return. Tilka, these. Asharatun, 10. Tilka asharatun, these are 10. Kamilatun, complete. These are 10 complete number of days of fasting. Dhalika, this is liman, for whoso. Lam, not. Yakun, it is. Ahluhu, his family. Hadir al-Masjid al-Haram, those who are with him or present with him at the Masjid al-Haram, the sacred mosque. Wattaqullaha, and you fear Allah. Wa'lamu, and remember, and you know, annallaha, that Allah, shadidul iqab. Shadidul iqab, severe in punishment. Running translation. And complete the Hajj and the Umrah for the sake of Allah. But if you are kept back, then make whatever offering is easily available. And do not shave your head until the offering reaches its destination. And whoever among you is sick or has an ailment of head should make an expiation either by fasting or almsgiving or a sacrifice. But when you are safe, then he who would avail himself of the Umrah together with Hajj should make whatever offering is easily obtainable. But such of you as cannot find an offering should fast 3 days during the pilgrimage, and 7 when you return home. These are 10 complete. These are 10 complete. This is for him whose family does not reside near the sacred mosque. And fear Allah and know that Allah is severe in punishing. So we'll stop here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa barik wa sallim innaka hamidun majid.